When I decided that I was going to be healthy, that I was done with all the behaviors of an eating disorder and my eating disorder in general, um, that was one thing. Making that decision is one thing. The second thing is if you are on an unhealthy weight, when you make that decision, obviously you're going to gain weight. And I did. I've gained a lot of weight. I'm sure I could lose 10 pounds, maybe even 15 pounds, and be completely in a normal, healthy weight range. Um, but this is where my body wants to rest. Like if I ate right and exercise every day, I can imagine that I'll probably lose about 5 or 10 pounds, but I'm not going to lose 20, 30, 40 pounds like the way that I was before without an eating disorder of some sort or something wrong with me as far as, you know, being sick or something like that. Um, it's not genetically where my body wants to stand. Like it's, and so when I realized that, or I mean, I guess I've always kind of known that, but when I became okay knowing that I'm not going to ever be that size, there's no way that I could work out and eat right and be that size. Um, I had to throw away clothes that I was holding on to, thinking that even with recovery, that if I did the right things, that I would be able to fit back into these clothes. And I know it sounds superficial and stupid, but it is a process of recovery that anybody who's serious with will have to go through. So it may sound really stupid to some people, but really it is kind of serious. There's a realization that the way that you were living your life and all the things that you were wearing and doing, some things you were doing, you're never going to be able to do again. And I had a closet full of clothes that just did not make sense. It just didn't. I just got rid of all of those clothes this season, this Christmas holiday. I made the realization that that was going to happen months prior to that, but then I decided that in order to help me actually carry out throwing those clothes away, maybe if I did it like give it to charity or give it to my church, I would feel better about what I was doing and not feel like a sense of loss or failure that I'm never going to be that small again. And for the most part, I was right. I don't miss them. Um, they were a constant reminder every time I open my closet or a drawer having a skirt that's a 00 or a pair of jeans that are a size 2. It was always a reminder of where I was before and the fact that I'm not there now. So with throwing out massive amount of clothes, it left a big gap in my closet. And that big gap, the clothes that were left in my closet were not necessarily things that made me feel good. Clothes that made me feel good, because the clothes that I bought to actually fit the size that I was were things like sweatpants, jumpsuits, you know, just not necessarily stylish things, because I wasn't proud of the way that I looked and because I always held on to there being a possibility for of me fitting back into those clothes. I hope I'm making myself clear right now. So, I'm in another phase right now, and I know I'm dealing with social anxiety, but I have more social anxiety madness than I have eating disorder and weight madness at this point in my life. I think that although I would love to be supermodel skinny and tall and lean and have tiny legs or whatever, I kind of feel like I love it. I would love it like I would love to win the lottery. Like, of course I would love it, but it's just not going to happen. I'm not going to let it depress me for the rest of my life. I go through good and bad days. Don't get me wrong. I go through probably as many good and bad days as a normal woman in general when it comes to her body or the way that she feels about it. So anyways, my whole point with this is that it left a big gap of clothes that needed to be filled. And over the course of the last 4 or 5 months, I have embraced the way I look and have purchased clothes and looked at styles that would complement my figure now. I can't just wear anything like I did before. I would be able to go to the store before and just put things in my basket and say, I'll try them on when I get home. I'll figure out how this works when I get home. And for the most part, 90% of everything I bought fit me great, or I was able to make it work. That's not the case now. I have a little bit more junk in my trunk. I have a little bit more going on, and some of the same things I could never wear because it just wouldn't look appropriate. But it doesn't mean that there's not better or newer or awesome, nicer clothes that would make me feel good, make me want to leave the house, make me feel good about what I look like. And so I've been kind of just indulging a little bit and trying to figure out what works for me. So in doing this recreating of the outfits, I'm kind of finding me, getting used to my new body. You know, I still want to work out. I still want to set myself some goals, physical fitness goals, and not necessarily weight goals. I still don't want to do a watch me shrink, although, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to losing 5 pounds. I just don't want to get myself into that obsession, because I can easily fall into an unhealthy mindset, and I don't want to do that. So hopefully in between these goal videos where I'm trying to reach my 2 social events or activities a week, maybe I can squeeze in one of these and make it not so depressing. So that's what I'm trying to do.